This is a really good shiny. So much so that for some, it becomes worth it to reset their game thousands of times in hopes of finding it. But what about the more, let's say, unsavory shiny variants? Who would waste hours and hours of their life just to find something like this? It's me. I would. So today, we're going to beat Pokemon Fire Red with a team of the absolute worst shiny Pokemon. But what are the 6 worst shinies in Kanto? Of course, I have my own list, but I also recognize that there would be quite a few hot takes in there. So rather than just selecting my own least favorite shinies for this run, I pulled my subscribers to gather a more accurate reflection of the community's opinion. And you guys came through. I received way more submissions than I thought I would, so a huge thank you to all of you who took the time to submit your answers. You made this video possible. So, what made the list? Naturally, our journey does not start off in Professor Oak's lab. These 3 starter shinies are nowhere near the top of the worst shinies list. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to leave until we pick one, so we choose Charmander, and he'll help us out until we get our first shiny. It has to be done, don't come for me in the comments. None of the early game Pokemon made the cut, so we have to venture all the way to Celadon City for our first team member. Once there, we travel to the top of this building and steal this Pokemon before whoever left it here comes back for it. As far as I can tell, nobody in the game tells you about this Eevee. We just kind of take it. If anyone asks, this is my dog Roscoe. Cat? Anyways, yeah, so we reset. And we try again. I do have a second game going alongside it to help speed things up. So yeah, hopefully it won't take too long. If you are somehow tricked into thinking Shiny Eevee was even remotely close to making the cut for this team, I would be shocked, because this has to be one of Kanto's finest. So unfortunately, we'll need to evolve it. But you'll have to wait until we get the Shiny to find out which evolution we're getting. It's Jolteon. We all know it's Jolteon. I'm generally not a green shiny hater, but ever since I saw this booger of a shiny as a kid, my disappointment has been immeasurable. And according to the rankings, you guys agreed. Oh, and if you're wondering why Jolteon made the team despite being ranked 10, it's because I already hunted all of these ones. Well, most of them not by choice, but since I already have them, I figured I'd stick to brand new shinies for my collection. On the bright side, this is a pretty fast reset. Yes, the odds are 1 in 8,192, but I wasn't worried about this taking too long because I have had some crazy good luck recently. But as the hours turned into days and the days into weeks, any optimism I once had quickly disappeared. For those who watched my Professor Oak challenge in Pokemon Yellow, you'll know that the challenge took over 80 hours to complete. What you don't know is that I was hunting for this Eevee alongside that challenge the entire time. That challenge came and went, but I was still stuck here searching for this white dog 3 months later. Things got so desperate that I had to add in 2 extra games to the mix. But this didn't really seem to help, as the resets just kept piling up until eventually the counter hit 25,288, which is officially the most resets or encounters I've needed to do before finding a shiny Pokemon. And we're still not done yet. But hey, at least I really like this shiny. Am I right, guys? Dream shiny. If I wasn't questioning this challenge going in, I certainly was now. Shiny Eevee! Yes! Oh my god! That took almost 95 hours. Oh, that looks so good for now. So we're on pace for a 600-hour video. So hopefully that comes down. Now that I escaped my purgatory, I took one last look at our flawless shiny Eevee before tarnishing it with a Thunderstone. Maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe it looks good in this game. While the shiny leaves a lot to be desired, the same cannot be said about its stats, so I was able to cruise through a game to our next target. And I don't know if it was just cope, because I had spent 100 hours going for this thing, but Jolteon's shiny was beginning to grow on me. Kinda reminds me of the Grinch. I don't know, I think that's fun. But before we get to our next shiny, we need to wake up the Snorlax blocking the path. So with the help of Pukey, my shiny Jolteon, I battled my way through the Team Rocket hideout and Pokemon Tower to get the Pokeflute, which will allow us to wake up Snorlax and open up the rest of the map. But before we do that, we need to save, because this Snorlax is our next target. Seeing this Pokemon on the list was very shocking to me because I could list so many other Kanto Pokemon more deserving of this spot. I mean, this thing looks really good in Gen 3. It's such a pleasant shade of blue and is a very noticeable change from its usual turquoise color. But I don't know, I guess that's just a hot take of mine. Unfortunately, Snorlax is very particular about his music, so we have to play the entire jingle every reset to wake him up. As a result, this reset for Snorlax is actually longer than the one for Eevee. And you saw how that one went. So I was praying on my hands and knees for this one to treat me nicer. And we're over odds again. Oh, shiny Snorlax! We're at 13k, 129 hours. So, yeah, we didn't get any good luck. It's a lot better, but still well over odds. Now, unlike the last hunt, we actually have to catch this one ourselves because it's a wild encounter. And I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous. A lot of things can go wrong with wild shiny encounters. I could crit the Snorlax and kill it, run out of Pokeballs, accidentally run away, or even white out. Okay, this is the game I didn't want to get it on because I don't speak Japanese. And I don't know which move is which. Yet, that certainly didn't help things. Why did I buy a Japanese game if I can't speak Japanese? Fair question, but the answer is just that it's much cheaper to buy. So we're gonna use cut here, which should be this one. We don't want to KO this. We are very much over leveled for this. Which one's run? Oh shit. Let me double check that. Okay, so I have 30 Ultra Balls. This is the game I prepared the worst on, which is awesome. Here we go. No shakes. To make matters worse, Snorlax also has a very annoying moveset, mainly due to the move Rest, which will heal it all the way back to full health, meaning we'll have to risk more misinputs and accidental crits to damage it again in order to keep our capture rate up. There's a crit. That's why I don't want to use Flamethrower, because if it crits, we are screwed. Come on. I'm getting nervous. I didn't prepare super well for this, which was dumb. 2, 3. Okay. I'm so scared of accidentally running. I know it's the bottom right, but oh my god. With that, all we had to do was trade it over to the main file and proceed to our next hunt. On the way, I decided to pick up a Surfmon on all 4 of the games as it will help for an upcoming target. And since these water Pokemon were going to be used for the sole purpose of surfing outside of battle, I allowed it for the run. However, while searching for them, something rather unexpected happened. Oh my god! What? I think I did like 4. I'm trying to get a Krabby. I don't even know if I'm using the right fishing rod. And then a shiny Magikarp shows up randomly. Again, I am not hunting right now. This is just raw shiny Magikarp. Oh my god, that's my first random shiny since like 2011 or something. My first playthrough of Black and White. Oh, I'm so annoyed I didn't get that on recording. Yeah, I think I was using the old rod. I'm not even supposed to get a Magikarp right now. I'm supposed to be getting Krabby. I'm glad it was this. This is much better. Unfortunately, this shiny is way too good to make the team, so we're going to have to release it. Nope, can't do it. Oh god. If you all thought shiny Jolteon and Snorlax were bad, you better buckle up for this next one because it's a famously bad shiny. Shiny Nidoqueen. One of my many shiny hot takes is that I don't think this shiny is that bad. I think the dark green really suits the dinosaur look. However, unlike Snorlax, I can completely understand why others would hate it. Not only is it a green shiny, which, to put it mildly, people generally dislike, but it also completely throws away the trend that was being set by the first 2 evolution stages. Again, I don't actually mind the shiny, but I'll admit, a pink colored Nidoqueen would have made for a much more satisfying shiny. Okay, I wrote this script before doing this recolor, and wow, you guys were right, we got robbed. So where's the best place to hunt it? Well, in Fire Red, all the options are pretty abysmal, so I swapped them all over to Leaf Greens for this hunt specifically. But even still, our options aren't great. We have Route 3, where Nidoran Female has just a 14% encounter rate, or the Safari Zone, where it can be found at a rate of 20% alongside Nidorina at 10%. This may seem like an obvious choice, however, the Safari Zone comes with a pretty heavy catch. Just because you find the shiny doesn't mean you will catch it, because after every turn the Pokemon you're facing has a chance to flee. That being said, I still opted for the zone because you don't have to throw out your Pokemon into battle. This may seem like a downside because you can't weaken your target to increase the capture rate, but it's actually really nice because the whole animation is skipped every encounter, which significantly speeds things up. Don't get me wrong, this is a very risky choice, but I wouldn't be a shiny hunter if I didn't enjoy a little bit of gambling. And after just 3 hours, we had already found our first shiny. Oh, shiny Venonat. Venonat. Oh shit, I actually don't have that yet. That's not what we're going for, but I really hope I get this. We're just gonna throw a ball and hopefully we get it. Come on. Oh no. Okay, that gave us no shakes. I don't... Oh my god. Oh, it's it's gone. Is that hard to get? No, this is one of the easiest targets to catch in the zone. But the shiny fail didn't sting that bad because it only took 3 hours to find, and it's not like we failed our target. I had eyes for only 1 shiny Pokemon. 2 shiny Pokemon. But unfortunately, we got egged. Shiny Execute and I have some history. 3 years ago, I stepped into this very same Safari Zone to hunt for my first Safari Shiny. Shiny Execute was one of my most sought-after targets. Hey, don't laugh. It has a great shiny, and I was actually lucky enough to find it on my first phase. However, I was very quickly introduced to the harsh reality of hunting in the zone.
Oh no, come on, stay. Please stay. No!
I've been trying to complete the shiny line ever since. It took 4 encounters with these golden eggs to catch my first one, and I've failed another 4 since then. So I definitely wasn't getting my hopes up going into this encounter. This is another phase, which is also very unfortunate. But I think to get something in the Nidoran line, it's like a 1 in 3, probably. Okay, 3 shakes. Let's keep throwing balls. I do not expect to get this. I've caught 1 before, but I still want another one to complete the line. Wow. Okay. Okay, I'll take it. I will take it. Yeah, not for this video, but there's another golden shiny for us. With a catch under my belt, my spirits were high, and I had a feeling we wouldn't be in this Safari Zone for too much longer. Okay. I was in the other room again, watching the playoffs, but shiny Nidorina. This is a fairly difficult one to catch, so let's just go for it and hope we can do this. Come on. Oh god. It stayed. Okay. Come on. Let's get it done. Very fast phase. No, 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 no. No! Oh no! It was a fast phase. I can't be too upset. This one hurt a lot more than I was letting on. The hunt could have ended there, but instead, we're effectively right back where we started. I was really starting to question whether I made the right decision hunting in the Safari Zone. But I told myself that these encounters are really fast and we'll see the next shiny in no time. That ended up being a lie. And it was for another Venonat. But hey, at least we caught it this time. If I could just see Nidoran instead of Nidorina, I would have a really good chance of finishing this hunt because it's the easiest thing to catch in the entire... Okay, we got the wrong Nidoran, which is a 5% in this area. Somehow we got that instead of the female one. Oh my god. That's just so bad. It fled anyways. I've caught like 6 of these in the Safari already, so it's not like I needed this particular shiny. But for the sake of my mental, I needed this capture. If you were wondering, yes, both Nidorans have the same capture rate. The fact that I just failed one did not bode well. After another 3,000 encounters, I found a Doduo that probably fled because, of course it did, which puts our Safari catch rate at 2 out of 6. And it's not even like any of these Pokemon had particularly bad capture rates. I was starting to feel like this hunt would never end. But after nearly 50 hours of hunting in the Safari Zone and a total of 50,000 encounters, I would get my best chance yet to put this hunt away. Oh! Oh! Finally! Okay, come on. We finally have the first Nidoran female. We're gonna throw a ball. Let's go. Come on. I need this to be over so bad. 1, 2, 3. Yes! 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 Oh my god. It's been like 7 phases or something stupid. Oh god, that's what I've been waiting to see, is just the Nidoran female. Oh man, I can't wait to proceed. All things considered, our luck so far in this challenge has been pretty abysmal. Well, besides the golden card, but that doesn't count. So I was really hoping it would turn around for this next one. This bad shiny probably stings much more than most because it was given to the face of Pokemon. That's right, Pikachu, the mascot, the pride and joy of Game Freak, received this. It's so subtle that if this slid across my screen, I doubt I or most of you will be able to pick out the shiny without the sparkle. But once you see them side by side, it's actually much more noticeable. And I wouldn't say that the cheddar color itself is a downgrade by any means. Which is why, brace yourself for this one, I think this is a subtle shiny done right. An example of a subtle shiny done wrong would be Elekid. This is hands down one of my least favorite shinies across all generations because it's extremely subtle and just gets a worse, expired looking color to the original. With all that being said, I was really looking forward to hunt for this Pokemon. The only downside being that it has just a 25% encounter rate, so the odds are I will see a few different shinies before the Pikachu. Oh, shiny Pikachu! Oh! Oh my god, I thought that looked a little different. I was gonna be really impressed by myself by noticing that right away, and it took me a while, but I was thinking, oh, that doesn't look quite right. Yes, first phase, first try. That is so sick. That saves us so much time, not even half odds. Thank God I got it first try, because I don't know if my sanity could take another 7 phases. You all probably guessed that this shiny was coming up, because this is rank number 1 according to the poll. And it's not even close. Gengar is our next team member, which has an extremely subtle shiny in the newer games. Here in Gen 3, it actually changes a ton. So much so that I don't even think you could call this subtle. Not a lot of people know this, but it wasn't until Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver that Gengar started to fit into that subtle category. And not because the shiny changed, but because regular Gengar's colors shifted closer to the shiny. This got even worse in the switch to 3D models as the Pokemon's colors got more washed out. So while I 100% agree that Gengar shiny is pretty terrible in the newer games, barring the Mega, that one is sick, in sprite form, and especially in Gen 3, I think it looks amazing. Seeing these results has shown me that I have way more hot takes than I thought I did, because I seem to enjoy most of these shinies. As far as the hunt itself goes, it's not too bad. Ghastly has a 90% chance of showing up every encounter, so no more phases. However, the encounter rate itself is quite slow, so you have to take many more steps than usual to get into a wild battle, which is only worsened by the fact that the player is unable to run inside the tower, or use a bike of course. At first I just tried to ride it out, however, it was really starting to bother me. Luckily, there's an alternative method you can use to encounter Pokemon for slow areas like this. All we have to do is catch an Oddish that knows the move Sweet Scent. We can then use that move outside of battle to guarantee an encounter. It's still quite a bit slower than your average encounter speed, but it's super consistent and still way faster than the base tower encounter rate.
What am I gonna do about that?
Okay, good news is, this was just barely over odds. Bad news, I was not recording. So, there is that. But we're just under 200 hours, and we have a Ghastly. Now, it can be difficult to get. Well, we have Ultra Balls, we'll be okay. So yeah, crazy good shiny. It looks so good. Glad it didn't take long. There it is, we caught it. Yeah, so sorry about that again. Don't know why I'm so bad at this after all these years, but there's only one more Pokemon left up to this one, but before that, we need to make this shiny look considerably worse, or at least in most of your opinions. After evolving Gengar, just one member remained. To find it, we had to travel back to Celadon City, where it all began. But this time, we're headed for the game corner, because the last member on this team is none other than Dragonite, which I think is so wrong. That's just not right. It's such a good shiny. Though I probably shouldn't be surprised at this point because we clearly have a green shiny and subtle shiny trend going on here. Now, game corner hunts are quite unique in that you can buy your desired Pokemon with coins that you can either win by gambling or by purchasing them with Pokédollars. While you can only hold 9,909 coins in your coin case, Dratini is surprisingly one of the cheaper options. So we have enough coins to buy 3 Dratini every reset. Or at least in Fire Red anyway. Because for some stupid reason, Dratini costs way more coins than Leaf Green. So you spend more coins for only 2 Dratini each reset. I had some Leaf Greens mixed in for some of the previous hunts, but for this one, they were promptly swapped out for Fire Reds. With no chance of phasing this time around, I was really hoping to get this final shiny and finish our journey under the 200-hour mark. However, with 5 hours to go, we'd have to get quite lucky for that to happen. But I'd wager we still got some good luck in the tank after all we've been through with this challenge. Oh, shiny Dratini! Oh my god! That was so fast! That is under 200 hours, which is what I was looking for. Yeah, that was so weird. I was just thinking about finding it, and then the dread of having to evolve it. But I mean, hey, we get to start on that sooner than later, which is good. If you guys recall, I mentioned that I had my own list of the 6 worst shiny Pokemon. So while I take on the Elite Four, I thought I'd go over with you guys. Especially because you may have noticed that, barring Jolteon, I have disagreed with every pick on this list. So starting things off with number 6, we have Shiny Vileplume. Now hold on, I know this is my hottest take on the list, but I just don't like this dark green color with the bright yellow orange, and I much prefer the original colors. And hey, it's not just me, there are at least 7 others out there that agree. That's a lot of people. Up next, I have Shiny Furo. This was actually the first full-out shiny that I caught. Not intentionally, of course. I was going for Ponyta and found this Pissbird instead, and I've been holding the grudge ever since. Number 4 is Shiny Onix. Not much to say here. This one is just boring. I don't think the green color suits it, and I would much prefer just about anything else. We then have Shiny Kangaskhan. The pale coloration could work so well here, like with this Pokemon, whose name that I will not say. But then they not only kept the green helmet thing, but saturated the color and just took the whole idea and threw it in the trash. Great Mon, garbage shiny. My second least favorite is Shiny Weepinbell. The base colors look so great, but the shiny just makes me feel sick. I hate the colors they went with here, and the shiny has much less contrast between the petals and the main body. I was very shocked when I saw how low this ranked in the poll, which brings me to my least favorite shiny from Kanto, Shiny Seeking. I'd apologize to anyone out there that has this shiny as their favorite, but I don't think that person exists. It has this off-white green color on its fins that look like some moldy curtains. Combine that with the light orange on the main body, and you get this perfect vomit-inducing mixture. Also, I just harbor this irrational hatred towards this Pokemon. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the receding hairline, the sideburns. I don't know. I've just never liked it. But feel free to tell me all about how I'm wrong in the comments, and I'd love to see your own 6 worst Kanto shinies and how they differ from both the poll results and my personal team. While it took over 200 hours and several months of hunting, we finally managed to complete our Shiny Nightmare Team quest. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more. Peace.